for a game with the Commanders. Last week's decisive win over the Bills was a momentum changer. From feeling like everything was lost to the joy of beating a powerful team like Buffalo. But, and of course there's always a but, Tua says onward.
I think that's a big confidence booster for our team. But we were able to enjoy that win for 24 hours. We want to put that to rest, and we want to focus on the Commanders this week and, find every possible way that we can to help win the game, offense, defense, collectively with special teams.
Mike McDaniel on how a win improves the focus of a team.
The belief in the team is very high amongst the entire locker room. And, our job is to play football. But we get to choose if we're impassioned collectively. And I think guys have made that choice and need to continue to progress so that we can have another win.
Can the Finns win again? Well, hopefully the Spanish air will do them well. We're up early to break it all down on Gameday Uncensored. The pregame show.
Love you, go.
Real Miami football fans. Tobin, Solana, Omar Kelly, and Chris Perkins on FM 104.3 WQAM, Miami's sports leader.
Gameday Uncensored on FM 104.3 WQAM is brought to you by the Lexus TX. Room for all your passions in 3 rows of luxurious comfort. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. By Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. When it comes to scoring a rugged new truck, Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet is the MVP of selection. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com and start shopping today. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. And by JM Lexus. JM Lexus has the best team in the business. A 4.8 Google rating with over 22,000 reviews and counting. JM Lexus, West Sample Road, Margate.
Good morning to everybody out there. It's Game Day Uncensored here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Good morning, everybody. It is bright and early here on this Sunday morning. Brendan Tobin alongside Alejandro Solana. Dan Day producing for us here today as your Miami Dolphins are in Madrid for a Week 11 international matchup with the Washington Commanders. Good morning, Solana.
What's up, Tobin? Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, dude.
Buenos dias, Brendan.
This is an international game, huh? This is not like those dreary London games that we had so many years in a row.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is my wheelhouse, man. I mean, listening to these guys talk Spanish all week. We're talking to Mike Cunio about churros con chocolate and paella and tortilla española. I mean, man, Tobin, this is like my 2 worlds colliding. Atletico Madrid. I'm rocking my Atleti jersey.
Is that where they're playing?
Well, no, they're playing at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, which is the Real Madrid stadium, but they practiced all week at El Metropolitano, which is the Atletico Madrid stadium.
Are they rivals?
Yeah. Yes, that's like the...
Don't look at me like that, Dan Day. I don't know, dude. It's not my wheelhouse.
No, I'm asking, is Spain going to be nice enough to return a game to us? No, they're not.
Oh, we're not getting... So we don't get... I thought we were like the hub here, baby, for the American international games. We're getting the World Cup.
Yeah, that's the Madrid Derby. The Madrid Derby. Those two are big-time rivals, no doubt.
Love the Madrid Derby, dude. Love the Madrid Derby. Yes. I mean, look, we have this matchup here this week against the Commanders, the Dolphins. They won last week. And they are riding high right now. They kicked the snot out of the Bills, and we'll get more into the recap of that. But Solana, we are actually sitting here. We're starting to do the thing. Like, this is what football does to us. Can the Dolphins turn this thing around? We go from everybody getting fired to, that schedule is looking kind of bleak.
You know,
maybe there's something here.
Tobin, remember last week, Perk is on with us, and he's saying, hey, if somehow, some way, the Dolphins can win this game against Buffalo, they might be able to win 4 in a row, and that might be a possibility for Mike McDaniel to save his job. And I responded to Perk by saying, hey, the schedule might be pretty easy, But Perk, I'd put my mortgage on this Dolphins team, this iteration of the Dolphins team, not winning 4 games in a row. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing my high school football team 4 times. This Dolphins team is not winning 4 games in consecutive fashion this season. It's just not going to happen. Well, Tobin, I might have to eat crow. You literally ate crow. I realize that. I might have to do the same.
It's
because,
rancid.
Is it really? Do you
It's not.
recommend
No,
it?
it's not. It's not good. It's
Okay,
not.
all right.
It's not. It's not a very. I mean, I think we made it even more terrible for the bit, but it was a rancid bird.
Yeah, it didn't look very appetizing. Well, I don't want to do that, but I might have to because, bro, if they play the way that they played against Buffalo last Sunday, this team is better than the 3 remaining teams that sit ahead of them over the next 3 games, including today's Washington Commanders team, which is a shell of what it was last year when they were in the NFC title game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you don't have your wonder QB in Jaden Daniels, and you're going to take on with Tua's boyhood idol in Marcus Mariota, a guy he looked up to, as a lot of those quarterbacks from Hawaii, very tight. Marcus Mariota, former number 2 overall pick. He's going to give it a go here today. But yeah, man, like that's kind of everybody's now. I this is the thing, Solana. Everything logically, now we know everything logically says, yeah, this should be a game. They're slight favorites. It's international. You're getting this chance where people are riding high. You got the bye week coming up next week. You kind of throw everything into this one and then get a little rest. But I still just don't know if I trust him. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I don't know if I'm ready to like put my arms out like this and say, come on, boys, you got, I just don't know, because I feel like that's when we get burned.
You don't want to be Rose at the edge of the Titanic and have Jack the Dolphins hold you. You're just not there yet, right? Like, you don't have that trust. I'm with you because, hey, what Dolphins team are we going to get? I'm all here convinced about how the Commanders defense is a shell of itself, and the Dolphins are going to look like the Dolphins team that played against the Buffalo Bills, the Dolphins team that just 3 weeks ago blew out the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, this is a team that has won 2 of their last 3 games, Tobin, but mixed in between there is literally a ridiculously porous effort against the Baltimore Ravens. And go back 4 weeks, and you got blown out by one of the worst offenses in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns. So, I mean, what are we going to get from this team? You still don't know. It's been, Hawk called it schizophrenic all week. It's been a roller coaster ride over the past month with this Dolphins team. And you like to imagine that they've kind of honed everything in and they've been able to move past the Chris Greer firing, and they're rallying around a new GM and they're rallying around Mike. But if they come out and give you 6 points today, would anybody be surprised?
No. No, I can't say that. Well, it's not even that. I think if they played to their standard of not making mistakes, I think that I would believe in them. I'm more worried about the mental errors. I'm more worried about them not being on the same page. I'm more worried about that stuff of silly mistakes, because that's really what's bit them in the butt most of the season, is just that, can they play clean? Can they play effectively for a whole game? More so than the talent, more so than the execution when it's smooth. I think there's ability there for sure. I mean, they got an all-world running back. Jalen Waddle seems like he's getting into his zone. Tua's kind of just doing what he needs to do. He's playing less disastrous. It was hard for him to play any worse, so he's starting to round into form. The line, is there. It looks like they're going to get probably reinforcements after the bye. They'll finally get Austin Jackson back. So there are some things that are starting to come together with this team. It's the mental errors, Solana. It's the, can they play clean? Can they not have critical penalties, not shoot themselves in the foot? Those are the things I don't necessarily trust with this team yet. I want to see that from a consistent standpoint, because if we look to the Baltimore game, I really felt like all credit to Baltimore, but not really, because I felt like the Dolphins kind of yacked that one up on themselves, and the turnovers kind of broke them.
Yeah, and even in that Baltimore game, I mean, in that first half, Tobin, if you really think about it, I mean, they outgained Baltimore. They were in the red zone how many times? That game couldn't end up executing. I think it was 4 times, maybe 5 times. They were in the red zone and just didn't end up scoring the football. So, I mean, that's what bad teams do, right?
Yep.
We came away from that Baltimore game saying, hey, bad teams find ways to just lose football games. It's the oldest cliche in the sport, and it's the truth. It really is. But I do think there are a lot of trends working in your favor right now. Just positively, right? You have the defense looking like they're putting together better performances week by week. I think you would
Yes.
agree with that, Tobin.
Mhm. No, I definitely would agree with that.
You would agree. And even on the offensive side, the offensive line, it sounds crazy, but they've put together better performances, I think, over the past couple weeks as well. And you're looking like you're trending a little bit healthier now. I know Austin Jackson's not playing today, but you could be getting reinforcements back. Just looking big picture here, and your best player Devon Achane and your best wide receiver Jalen Waddle continue to put up good performances as well. I think like those are just positive trends based on a season that could have gone south really quickly with the way the offensive line just flatlined early on, losing two of your best players on the right side of the line, and you lost Tyreek Hill. Like this could have just gotten really ugly. It could have unraveled completely. And so far, this team, in the midst of a GM firing, it doesn't look like they've quit on their head coach, and it doesn't look like they've given up on the season.
Well, we will be here with you until the 9:30 kickoff between the Dolphins and Commanders. We will check in with Chris Perkins. He will join us around 8 o'clock today, so we'll have him at the top of next hour. Omar Kelly, he will join us from Spain. We will link in with Omar. He will join us about 30 minutes before kickoff, so we'll talk to him around 9 o'clock today and get your thoughts there. Dan, what time is post-game coverage today for Game Day Uncensored?
Officially 1 o'clock, but honestly, I kind of do what I want to do. So whenever the game's over, I turn it on and we just go because nobody needs. No, never mind. People need to be heard. So whenever the game's over, we just go on.
There you go. All right. So Dan Day will have here for you your post-game edition. You guys can always get your calls in for Dan Day, and he will be here with you on WQAM. Game Day Uncensored, brought to you by the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Get offers on select models for a limited time, and hopefully for this holiday season, the Dolphins can get us an international win. We'll take a break, look a little bit back on that win last week as the Dolphins finally put it on the Buffalo Bills. Game Day Uncensored rolls on after this.
We've made it easy to find us. Listen to WQA
pregame show for real Miami football fans on FM 104.3 WQAM.
And welcome back, everybody. It's game day. Uncensored here with you. Brendan Tobin alongside Alejandro Solana. Dan Day producing for us here today. You'll catch him on the post-game edition of Game Day Uncensored as the Miami Dolphins up bright and early, baby. Right here with you as the Fins are taking on the Commanders. I just saw they tweeted out Solana Tua walking into the stadium. It looks awesome. I saw David Furones tweet out a picture as well. The place looks incredible. I did see, I know as you guys say, the pitch. It is well taken care of in Madrid. It goes like under in like a secret layer of grass, and then like they got LED lights on to grow it, and the water. It looked incredible.
Yeah, man, it's like the most sophisticated system ever built to ensure that the grass, the pitch at the Santiago Bernabéu is maintained in like the highest quality. They've got literally like different layers underneath the stadium, an irrigation system built in for all the different sections of the grass, which are all pieced apart, brought down by this, again, like very sophisticated elevator. And then again, like an irrigation system at all these different levels. So you could look up the video, like they documented the entire building process of the stadium and specifically putting this system into place to keep that pitch at the highest quality. The funny part is, Tobin, that it's like an ongoing joke amongst La Liga fans, which is the Spanish soccer fans, that it's like the worst playing conditions in the entire league. So we'll see how it holds up today.
Well, Solana, since you're wearing an Atletico Madrid kit, you'll understand it's the most corrupt, like rich person team in the world, Real Madrid. So, they obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess corrupt. I don't know if corrupt is the right word, Dan. I mean, Tobin, this is the richest team in the world for the past century. Now it's a little bit different because you've got oil money kicking into soccer teams all around the world. But like Real Madrid is probably the most successful soccer club historically. Not probably, they are, since soccer has existed. So they've just had loads of money, but they're the most successful team. Like they've won more than anybody else.
You would say like our current day Dodgers, if you will, if you were to Americanize it.
Yeah, no, they're the Yankees. They're the Yankees.
Way worse.
They're the Yankees. I mean, they
like
have
David
all the
Beckham.
titles.
Go get David Beckham. They wanted Messi, but they couldn't get Messi because he was on the rival team. But look, this isn't a soccer show. This is the Dolphins.
It's okay. I mean, listen, it's all about they were all asked about it this week. They were all asked about the flavor of these games and how much they knew. The answer was not much. Mostly, except for Mike McDaniel, big soccer guy, because Mike McDaniel sounded like me if I was trying to go up there and say how much of a big soccer fan I was. I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, World Cup.
He was like, oh, what's the one thing I know about soccer? World Cup. Yeah, I know about the World Cup, everybody. World Cup. Did I mention I know about the World Cup? He just explained what the World Cup was.
He's like, they all play for the world, their countries.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing you need to add on top of that was Messi, huh?
Tobin, am I naive? You tell me. I'm naive. How is it possible like none of these guys know who Real Madrid is? They're like I don't know, man. Maybe I'm caught up in a different world. Dan, maybe you could tell me I'm caught up in a different world. But like to not know these teams, Real Madrid, Atletico, I don't know, man. Like I'm shocked. Tobin, I mean, you don't. So like I get it. I get it. I guess like they just don't pay attention to soccer at all. But I mean, these are Tobin. These are the two of the most historic sports franchises in the world, in the history of sports. Like go look at their social media following. It dwarfs what the Dolphins and the NFL does. So to me, it's just like, it's shocking.
I understand. I was talking about this with my wife last night because we were talking about this, about the Dolphins being in Spain. She's like, why are they doing that? I was like, yeah, it's just kind of like the NFL putting its deal on the table. Like saying we've been here. It's a big money getter. And it's just, and then we were talking about like, is soccer like, is it still as big in America? I said, oh yeah, it's a monster in America. I think just in the culture of it, like on mainstream sports talk, it's still not bigger than American football, but it's definitely big enough that it's become that big. Everybody watches international games now. It streams everywhere. But yeah, I don't think it's that weird. I think athletes are very tunnel vision. Some athletes are freaks. I talk about this with fighters all the time, where usually there's two types of fighters who are either big sports fans or fighters who only care about fighting. And it's like, that's I think a lot of athletes are probably, they're either in their zone and they want to get away from sports, or they can be obsessed about it. I was watching the Jeter A-Rod documentary, or the A-Rod documentary recently, and they had Derek Jeter. And one of the things Jeter talked about that was weird, he's like, Alex Rodriguez wanted to watch baseball all the time. I found it very weird. Like, I wanted to get off the field, stop watching baseball. But A-Rod had the MLB package at his house. All of his men, like, we watched the games when we got home. We watched the games after from the West Coast. He was just obsessed with it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody on the team. You know, Riley Patterson, I'm sure, loves soccer.
Yeah, of course. All the kickers.
All the kickers love soccer, dude. So anyway, the Dolphins win last week. They put it on the Buffalo Bills, 30-13. It was glorious. I got to tell you, what a time it was, Solana. And, you know, Devon Achane just remains unbelievable. Yeah. But I think the thing that I loved most about it was how terrible Josh Allen was.
That was beautiful. Just he's frustrated. You're getting to him finally. Your boy Zach Sealer is able to get a sack. There's pressure on him the entire game. The Dolphins did a really good job at stopping James Cook. Like, he had that turnover, and they just did a really good job. And look, he was banged up going into that week. He was questionable all week. I don't know how much that played into his performance, but I'm not taking anything away from the Dolphins defense. And once they did that, it was time for Josh Allen to go make plays, and the Dolphins didn't let him make plays. They forced him into bad turnovers, which is the idea, right? Every time you play Josh Allen, you're saying try to keep him from rolling out of the pocket and try to force him to make mistakes. And the Dolphins are never successful doing it. Never. They had lost 14 to the last 15. You know, Tobin, it's funny. You could have said they were due, but it just never feels that way against that team. This time it worked, man. You turned him over. That strip sack by Jordan Brooks was just effing awesome. And even then, you're up 16-0, and then you score that touchdown at the end, and I'm like, this game's still not over. Until the clock struck 0, I'm like, this game's still not over.
Jordan Brooks is so impressive as a player. I mean, like, the Dolphins bringing him in, the way that he is, you know, carried himself, you know, with this team. Like, he called out the Dolphins back when they lost on Thanksgiving, just saying how soft they were. And, you know, I think that he's just carried himself like such a big time leader. Apparently he was the Papa Shot guy. He took away the Papa Shot. Not surprising. Like, if you told me there was one guy who has no time for Papa Shot, it was definitely Jordan Brooks, because he is, you know what he's worried about? Punching the football out.
Yep.
That's how he pops a shot. He goes out there and he gets the football back for his football team, because Jordan Brooks, ask him about soccer. He is all American football all the time. That's what he eats and sleeps.
He'll pop me in the mouth if I ask him about Atletico Madrid. Tobin, that's the only serious guy in this entire team. I swear, like, that is the only guy who you know is going to show up every single day, and he's just about his business. I can't imagine Jordan Brooks. I was thinking about this the other day. Imagine Jordan Brooks sitting down with Mike McDaniel to have a conversation. Like, he probably just walks up, gets out of the room. He's like, Mike, just let Weaves know what I need to know. And just let Weaves know what I need to know, and he'll tell me. He'll deliver the message in a more concise fashion, because he's just about business, bro.
Yep. It's a strange thing in this week. I think him and Bobby Wagner is still doing it crazy on the Commanders. They're 1-2 in tackles in the league. So old school Seahawks and new school Seahawks now meeting in this international matchup. But Brooks has been, I think, everything and more since the Dolphins have brought him over here. He's been absolutely fantastic. He has that monster punch out. Josh Allen. The one thing that drove me nuts. I got into this with Leroy, because Leroy was talking about this week, and I was just like so annoyed that the crew on CBS was talking about poor Josh Allen being wilted from the heat, and I'm like, is he a legitimate polar bear? Like, what? I don't understand. So every time that this guy goes in weather that is above 70 degrees, he gets some kind of a pass. Like, I don't understand this. We're always talking about poor Josh Allen. Like, he's the most unstoppable force in the league, and yet somehow he's like anti-Superman. Anytime he's in the sun, He's got some kind of a wilting job. Hey, he's had quite the bit of dominance against the Miami Dolphins, but somehow every time he loses here, we got to mention the weather.
Not only that, Tobin, that's annoying as hell. You're right. And even Rousseau after the game dropped in the humidity weather factor, and then he's like, it's not an excuse. It's like, bro, you grew up here.
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
You lose it? You know what it's like down here, Greg Rousseau.
Also, Tobin, it's not like it was 100 degrees in September. I'm not saying it was pristine conditions, but it was certainly humid. It wasn't. It was like 78 degrees at kickoff. What? How could that not be any better to play football in? Oh, God forbid it was a little humid, everybody. Yeah, that's better than having to play in the frozen tundra of Buffalo where everybody's pelting you with snowballs. Like, how are those not better conditions than what they're used to playing in? And another thing that really pisses me off about Josh Allen is that now he loses. So they start talking about, oh, well, the weapons. Buffalo hasn't done a good job of getting him weapons. And, oh, they didn't do enough at the trade deadline to go help the team. Hey, I don't remember those complaints when they were beating Kansas City the week before. So, hey, he got his ass kicked by the Miami Dolphins, whose defense finally showed up. How about that being where the credit is deserved?
Yeah, it really is something. It's like you would think after it's only his third loss, only the first time he's lost the Dolphins on multiple scores. Some of the stats were crazy on the Bills' dominance, not only of the Dolphins, but the AFC East. Like, it was the biggest deficit he's ever had of the Dolphins at one point when it was 13-0. It was I think it was the first time they had lost a multiple score game to an AFC East opponent, I think since 2018. I think I was like, that doesn't sound how's that possible? Nobody got like an extra score. Just I don't know. Out of I mean, their dominance basically since the end of Tom Brady has been pretty crazy. Now they're still chasing because the Patriots right now are 9-2. They beat the Jets this week, so they are scrambling a little bit. So it was a big time loss for them. But yeah, man, I don't know. Great performance by the Dolphins. What did you think, Solana, of Mike McDaniel driving to the elbow room afterwards? This was a big topic because, there's always got to be a little extra something afterwards. McDaniel reportedly driving to the elbow room. There was a lone picture of him. And people were like, is this real? Is this not? Then he likes to play into it. Then we had video. But McDaniel driving by the elbow room.
Tobin, I think I'm back on the McBandwagon, baby. I think I'm back. McStan, McBandwagon, McTrash talking. I am back, baby. I am 100% back on the McBandwagon. That could all change if the Dolphins lose today. I'll rip them gladly tomorrow at 2 p.m. But I like it, man. I mentioned in the previous segment, this had all the makings of a team that just gave up on this dude. And it's so easy when things are down, and they've been down this year. They've been down more than they had ever been for McDaniel. It's so easy to rip on this dude because he's just annoying when he's in front of a microphone. And that gets more annoying when you're losing and the way the Dolphins were losing. But we keep talking about the locker room doesn't listen to him. Perk was saying that he feels like there's just no reason to listen to him anymore because the message had just gone stale. And to Mike McDaniel's credit, Tobin, to go win that Buffalo game, that's not a locker room that has quit on their head coach. Truthfully, take your feelings for even the biggest detractors of Mike McDaniel who are just saying this guy needs to be fired. They're sick of listening to his press conferences. I get it, but even those people, I think, would have to be able just rationally to say, you beat the Buffalo Bills the way that this team did after firing your head coach, or rather your GM. Give credit to the head coach, the entire coaching staff, for keeping this team kind of in check, balanced, and ready to go play a football game against a team they never beat.
Yeah, not only, you saw the celebration in the locker room. I mean, they were surfing in laundry carts.
Yeah, it looked fun. That was the first time. When's the last time you saw a Dolphins team look like they're having that much fun during the game and then after the game?
It's been a while. No, it's been a while. And we'll see if they can roll this in and make this something for this season.
Are you upset? Are you upset at people who are taking issue with him going to elbow room, calling it immature? I understand the idea of, hey, you're 3-7. Like, yeah, like what are you doing? But to be fair, it's on his way home. I saw Bradley Chubb. He was talking. I think it was to Sky Sports yesterday. He's like, well, he's on the way home, but he's the petty king. I can see where it's the video and what people were saying about it makes it seem like he literally parked, got out, and was like giving the double birds to Buffalo Bills fans, which isn't what happened. He kind of just drove by, had his big gold watch out, and he's chirping a little bit. I loved it, man. I love that stuff, though.
I mean, unless he lives in a condo, he could have taken another route. So he took that route because he wanted to take that route. Dan, did you think it was immature? You kind of gave it the look that, like, did you not like that from Mike McDaniel?
I mean, Don Shula, would he have done that? No. Mike Tomlin, would he have done that? No.
I don't know. Would Mike Tomlin have done that if he knew there was a Ravens bar? I don't know if there is that in Pittsburgh.
Do you hear of any other coach doing that? No. Yeah, it's immature.
I feel like I'd see McVay doing that.
I'll tell you what, though.
No.
You say
why doesn't he do it then? Why don't they do it? Why is nobody doing it except for that?
I think if you were to give me the most likely coach, it would be him.
That's saying a lot.
But if you say, would Shula do that? Bro, maybe. But there were just no flip phones or phone cameras back then.
Shula's definitely not doing it. No, there's no way.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Eric Spoelstra. Okay, let's just do it like in this town. Eric Spoelstra's not doing that.
Paul Maurice is not doing that.
Paul Maurice is not doing that. Like Clayton McCullough, maybe.
Yeah, we don't know Clayton that well.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll take a break here. When we come back, Champ Kelly, Miami Dolphins' new GM. He spoke to reporters this week, and there's a lot of there was a report also talking about the Dolphins' future GM. It's a very coveted job, apparently. So we'll get into that coming on up as the Dolphins' new GM has spoken about him trying to make his mark with the job. Gameday Uncensored brought to you by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. Shop massive savings on massive Chevy inventory, all backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com. Chevy, find new roads. Back with more Gameday Uncensored after this.
Every Miami Hurricane
WQAM on FM 1043 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed anytime.
Time now for more Game Day Uncensored, the pregame show for real Miami football fans on FM 1043 WQAM.
And welcome back, everybody. It's Game Day Uncensored here on FM 1043 WQAM. Chris Perkins going to join us in about 15 minutes. We'll talk to Perk. Omar Kelly going to join us around 9 o'clock. I had to I wanted to do some time zone calculations for that. I was like, just 30 minutes before, whatever it is. I know it's 6 hours, but I was like, Omar, just 30 minutes before kickoff, dude. Let's just do it then. So he will join us as he's boots on the ground in Madrid, getting you ready for Dolphins and Commanders set for this Week 11 matchup. We'll get to some keys to the game here, brought to you by Edmore Sawgrass Automall Shop. Exceptional Cadillac offers now at the 3-time Cadillac Dealer of the Year, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Visit EdmoreSawgrassCadillac.com. You're always backed by Morse. As Solana, you would say for this game and these and the Dolphins is like everything has to start with Devon Achane, like as far as tone for these games now. I mean, every single game this guy goes out there, you would think the Dolphins get Achane the ball, set the tone for everything, and then open things up for Jalen Waddle.
You saw last week, I mean, the Dolphins didn't have to lean on Tua to win them the game. Right, Tobin? I mean, this wasn't a game where Tua came out, threw 300 yards, and he was the better quarterback. He just wasn't. But what helped was the fact that you established the ground game. And I guess, you know, after me celebrating the fact that the Dolphins are going with a three-headed backfield led by Devon Achane, Mike McDaniel said, F that. You know, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, you guys just hang out, and we're just going to ride our bell cow. And, yeah, I mean, it's Devon Achane or bust, but you see the importance of establishing the run game and not forcing Tua to have to claw you back into a game by making throws late in the game. I mean, when the Dolphins play with a lead, it's a totally different football team.
No, yeah, and I think that, look, sometimes this stuff doesn't need to be oversold. Like, you just get the ball in that guy's hands and go. Like, I think you saw this yesterday with the Canes and Malachi Toney. It's just like, you know what? He's the best football player we have. I'll have him pass the football. I'll have him catch the ball. Like, just as many times as that guy can be involved with your football team, just make it happen. And Achane has, you know, he's been the one consistent thing basically every single week. You could count on Devon Achane for making something happen. So I'd imagine that's where the Dolphins are going to go. I'm sure that's what Dan Quinn is going to try and shut down, but I just don't know how you can right now. He's too shifty. He's too fast. He seems like, because I mean, there's a lot of plays, Solana. I think sometimes you could see a guy like, oh, he's a product of the system, or this guy feels like he's bailing the team out so many times this year. He's making something out of nothing.
It was an omen the very first game where the only touchdown the Dolphins scored against Indy was on 4th and 11 on the 10-yard line. So you throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Devon Achane catches the ball and he just mows five bodies in front of him. And he's like, I'm getting into the end zone. I don't give an F. I'm getting into the end zone. We should have known right then and there, like it was going to be the Devon Achane season. Tobin, I had argued a little bit for trading or exploring trades for Devon Achane, just from the standpoint of I feel like this is headed towards a major rebuild. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You know, it seems like all of a sudden the Dolphins GM position is highly coveted, according to reports. You mentioned it. But I felt like this was going to a major rebuild. The stock for Devon Achane was never going to be higher than it was going into that trade deadline. And to me, if you could get legitimate draft capital back for him, considering this dude's going to command a ton of money this upcoming offseason, going into the final year of his contract, do you want to pay a rookie, or I'm sorry, do you want to pay a running back a lot of money next offseason when you're kind of rebuilding? I could see why the Dolphins might explore some trades, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad I was wrong about that entire situation, because he's the funnest Dolphins player in a very long time. Him, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. And I'm happy that, you know, for the time being at least, he's on this football team, because again, he's a ton of fun and he's just great.
It was interesting. Champ Kelly spoke to reporters this week in Spain, and he was talking about the job and whether or not he's going to be able to, prove that he's worthy of the job. He's gotten this opportunity before with the Raiders, but, obviously didn't go anywhere. He didn't really even get to make trades. This one he did. He did get to make a trade with Jalen Phillips and get a chance to do that. Jalen Phillips, by the way, had a heck of a debut with the Philadelphia Eagles, which I'm not necessarily surprised by. You can see this Vic Fangio. I never see him happy. He even kind of cracked a half smile this week talking about Jalen Phillips being on his defense again. But he was asked about the idea. The other thing that was interesting, we talked so much about the Jalen Waddle stuff, and he did mention, he's like, look, I don't have a lot of, things that like you're set by, but he goes, I don't love trading stars in your division that you're going to face. And so it does appear like that did play a part in Champ Kelly's thinking of not trading Jalen Waddle to the Buffalo Bills. And if we saw last week and everybody's complaining about the weapons that Josh Allen has, I'm glad that they were able to stay conservative on that. I know some people will be like, you make the best trade possible no matter what, but I just don't. I think there are circumstances. You have a quarterback like that who needs somebody like Jalen Waddle. I appreciate that Champ Kelly was conservative in that regard with the Jalen Waddle move of not trading him to a guy you're going to face twice a year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that was something that they probably really thought about, Tobin, right? I mean, you're getting that much draft capital for a wide receiver that obviously you covet. It's not an indictment on Jalen Waddle, but I think would be willing to move on for the right price. Truthfully, I genuinely believe that. And to have to watch him go to a division rival, that would have that would have been every week would have been brutal to watch him go put up numbers. And the Dolphins have been bit by that before. I mean, I was looking at a recent list put together by Bleacher Report. We read it on the show on Friday or Thursday of the worst trades in this century. And right up in the top 10 was, guess who? Wes Welker.
Oh,
and they're
man.
talking about the Dolphins trading Wes Welker to New England so he can go win Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And they got nothing basically in return for him. It would have been different circumstances with Waddle, but what if that's what puts the Bills over the top to go win a Super Bowl? Like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that Jalen Waddle's catching touchdown passes from Josh Allen in playoff games.
Yeah, you couldn't stomach it. It would be really, really rough. I don't know. It's going to be interesting because so there's this report this week from Diana Rossini that says that the Dolphins vacancy is viewed as this great place by front office seekers and by seasoned GMs, and that it's getting a lot of attention. And there's part of you that's like, hey, that's a little surprising because does that mean that they can make their own decision at head coach? Do they like what Mike McDaniel brings because they don't look at him as like this overbearing coach? They could still make their mark. Or is it just strictly because you're going to an owner? First of all, we know the Dolphins. I know that there's this report this week that the owners are trying to get rid of the report guard. Not Stephen Ross. I mean, he gets flying colors and all that. Is it just because you have an open checkbook, basically, once you get the books in order here? You know you have an owner who's going to spend. I'm curious to see like what the Dolphins do here because Champ Kelly seems like a guy pretty inspired that can that is going to do the most that he can. It's a little bit out of his hands now. Like now it's just basically on how the team finishes. But if this finished mediocre, let's just say 7 wins, Solana, does Champ Kelly get another shot, or do you think it still has to go into no? They got to find somebody new as a visionary to take over this team.
I think people just want to get rid of everything that was in that building. And I understand that. I understand that perspective. I kind of feel that way too. But I do feel like Champ Kelly deserves his fair share of a shot. I don't know if you feel the same way, Tobin, but this is somebody who was brought in this past season to kind of oversee what was happening and just be another football mind in the room. They clearly value his opinion. And while Chris Grier is making all these mistakes, like Champ Kelly's there, I don't know how much say he really had, right? I don't know what the power dynamic was. I mean, at the end of the day, Chris Grier was a general manager, but this isn't somebody who Chris Grier hand-selected. This isn't somebody Chris Grier has been working side by side with So you feel like they have the similar thought processes, or they have the same type of approach to being a general manager. I mean, this is somebody different, somebody who's done this before elsewhere. So from that perspective, I do feel like he deserves to be given a fair share of a chance. But with that being said, Tobin, I think it'd be silly not to look elsewhere, right? Like at the end of the season, I think it'd be silly, no matter how good of a job you think Champ Kelly's done. And by the way, I just like this dude's aura. Like the suit he was out there on the field with last week was just
No hat.
No hat. Thank God he's not doing the Chris Greer hat suit combo, but he just looks the part. He's dapping up the players, chest bump with the players walking off the sideline. Like, I like that stuff. Not that it matters. Like, it's not going to help him do his job well. I like that stuff, though. But if Stephen Ross doesn't approach this from just like a business decision, I'm choosing somebody, again, probably the last time I do it, to run my organization, to run my investment and make it better. If he doesn't look everywhere and interview every possible candidate and make the best decision, not just the easy one, which is the guy that's already in the building, I mean, then it would be the dumbest thing Stephen Ross has ever done, because he's got one more shot at this, I think, Tobin. Not to be morbid, but he's got one more shot at this to make it right. He should literally be interviewing every possible available general manager candidate to make the best possible decision.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing because, we talk about this all the week about the future of the quarterback too. Like, that's going to play a part in it, is like, how long are they going to remain Tua Tagovailoa's team? And McDaniel obviously has a big hand in that because that's his quarterback. That's his guy. And though the losing has had more of its snippiness and had more of its petty moments, if you are going because of the money constraints, if you are going to bring that out and drag that out for a year, then I understand having some level of status quo and hoping you can improve some things and ride that out one more year. But if you are going to go in a new direction, it does feel like you should just go in a new direction with everything. Coach, GM, quarterback, blow it to smithereens, pull a Patriots, be a doormat, and get yourself right in 3 years, hopefully.
I get what you're saying in terms of status quo, especially if the Dolphins win. They end up winning 7 games this season, Tobin. Like, there's going to be an argument to be made of, hey, maybe we don't need to blow this thing up. But how do you sell that to the fan base? To me, that's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
I think the ultimate knife in Chris Greer's tenure here was the fact that you have a Ravens fan takeover at Hard Rock Stadium on national television. The Dolphins are being mocked by everybody because they put up 6 points again, and they dropped to 2-7 or 2-8, whatever it was. I think that's what Stephen Ross finally made him pull the trigger on firing Chris Greer. He realizes this fan base, they're kind of checked out a little bit. And hey, regular season wins against the Bills are fun, but finishing 7-9 or 7-10 and ruining your draft pick to stay status quo for another year, I don't know. How does a fan base stomach that? I don't think very well.
We'll talk about it with Chris Perkins. Perk going to join us. We'll dive into some more things. The Dolphins getting ready for the Commanders. He joins us next.
Every Miami Hurricanes
Miami, an Odyssey sports station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
It's another Game Day Uncensored.
Today, the Dolphins have traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to Spain to play an international game with the Commanders. They've had to put last week's win over the Bills behind them, because now it's time to focus on Washington. Jalen Waddle talks about what the Finns need to do to keep the momentum moving forward, not backward.
I think it starts with preparation, going into the week with the right mindset, knowing that the 24-hour rule, and yeah, we got how many more games left in the season. So, go out there and play good football.
Waddle played very well last week, including scoring a touchdown. Tua has high praise.
The leadership role that Waddle has taken has also been a step forward in his game with the little things where it's just breaking out of the huddle. And, if it doesn't look the way he wants it off of what he told the receivers, all right, everybody back in the huddle. We're going to get this right. And then we do it in that way.
Time to raise the level of analysis as we get ready for the Finns and Commanders on Game Day Uncensored, the pregame show for real Miami football fans. The guys are all here: Tobin, Solana, Omar Kelly, and Chris Perkins on FM 104.3 WQAM, Miami's sports leader.
Game Day Uncensored on FM 104.3 WQAM is brought to you by the Lexus TX. Room for all your passions in 3 rows of luxurious comfort. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. By Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. When it comes to scoring a rugged new truck, Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet is the MVP of selection. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com and start shopping today. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. And by JM Lexus. JM Lexus has the best team in the business. A 4.8 Google rating with over 22,000 reviews and counting. JM Lexus, West Sample Road, Margate.
And welcome back, everybody. It's Game Day Uncensored on FM 104.3 WQAM. Tobin and Solana here with you. Dan Day producing for us as we are rolling on to this Week 11 matchup from Spain. Dolphins and Commanders. And let's link up with our guy, Chris Perkins here, Miami Dolphins columnist from the Sun Sentinel. Perk, how you doing this week?
Oh, man, it's a beautiful day for football here. so I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
This matchup coming up here this week, Perk, we talked a little bit about this last week. If they could get the Bills one, could this be the start of a run? Is there a little more trust in this Dolphins team after doing something they have failed to do so many times in beating Buffalo, or are you still at an arm's length? Like, I got to see it to make sure that this thing can actually stay consistent that long enough to get back in any kind of a playoff race.
I'm right where you hate to be, right in the middle on that one, because this should be the start of a good run, right? Because this is what the Dolphins do. Once that Buffalo victory, hugely impressive. And let's face it, that was a butt kicking. That wasn't just a win. That was a butt kicking. And so you could look at this schedule and say they should win the next 3 games, right? Against Washington, against New Orleans, against the Jets. That's what the Dolphins have done under Mike McDaniel. They feast on non-playoff teams. And so that's what you've got, 3 straight coming up. So, yeah, you could see that they should be 6-7 going into that Monday night Pittsburgh game, but we haven't seen that type of consistency from this year's team yet. So, yeah, I mean, according to history and according to the schedule, they should win these next 3 and be on a 4-game winning streak. But that's not the Dolphins team that we've seen this year. If they take care of business today, and I don't care about style points. If they have to win 7-6, who cares? Just get the victory. Then I'll feel a lot better about them finishing off this 4-game winning streak.
Hey, Perk, I might owe you a big apology if the Dolphins win the next 3, because you told us last week if they can somehow manage to beat the Bills, they might win. They might go ahead and rattle off 4 straight wins. And I told you I'd put everything I own on the Dolphins this iteration, not winning 4 straight. And here we are. I feel like they're going to, but Perk, you wrote in the Sun Sentinel this week that without a big finish by the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa, I believe the headline was they must go. And I thought you made a lot of really good points in the piece. But what in your mind does a big finish look like by the Dolphins? I imagine it's not just winning the next 4. Is it, somehow turning this into a spot where they're actually contending for that final wild card spot? Like, what is it that would, in your mind, force Stephen Ross to say, all right, I'll ride with you guys another season?
I got to see them win those last 2 games against Tampa and New England. That's one of the first things, because, I keep going back to it, this administration, and I mean the Greer, McDaniel, Tua, that they entered this season 4-16 against playoff teams. If you look at the standings now, they would be 5-20 against playoff teams, being 1-4 this season against playoff teams. That's not good enough. That's like the level that this team should be, considering the talent and the resources and the expectations. They should be at the level as Baltimore and Buffalo over the last few years, meaning nobody expects them to get past Kansas City and get to multiple Super Bowls, but you expect that they would have made a AFC championship game appearance, or that they would have definitely won a playoff game, and you would expect that they could beat playoff caliber teams consistently. So beating Tampa and beating New England are 2 indicators to me. Okay, maybe they're about to turn this thing around. Beat Pittsburgh on Monday night. That's another indicator that maybe they're about to turn this thing around. Again, we've seen this team beat non-playoff teams. That's what they feasted on. That's been their calling card during the Tua McDaniel era. Now I want to see them level up. And to me, if I'm Steve Ross, if I can see this team show that they're about to level up, that they have learned something, that they have grown, okay, now we can start having the conversation about McDaniel and Tua returning next season. But, man, I just think if you lose even one of those last 2 games, what have you really shown me that's different than what you've shown me the previous, 3+ seasons? Pretty much nothing. That you can beat bad teams and you continue to lose good teams. So if you want to impress me, win those last 2, then we can start having a conversation.
Perk, how much should I believe that this defense is starting to figure some things out? You get Zach Sealer getting a sack. Jordan Brooks has been awesome. Obviously, they traded Jalen Phillips, but Chubb's still looking right. They got this cornerback, Juju Brents, they put out there last week. He had a really nice performance. Is there something here, Perk? Does the defense, after how terrible it was to start the season, couldn't stop anybody, do they look like they're actually, this is real, that they might be starting to round into form?
Yeah, they do. They do. And I just don't want to have my heart broken here. That's the big thing. But look, we've seen what they just did to Bijan Robinson and James Cook, right? And we saw the front 7 controlling and shutting down Josh Allen last week. This is the front 7 that I thought we were going to get coming right out of training camp. They're starting to round into shape now. They're setting the edge on the run. They're stopping the run up the middle. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. They're playing good pass defense on the back end. They're forcing some turnovers. And the back end is obviously not the front 7, but that's the whole defense. But this is the unit that I thought that was going to be here all season long. They're starting to look like that now. It's like everything else with this team. It's starting to look better, but do you believe? Do you want to expose yourself like that? Do you want to put your heart on the line and have it risk being broken? I've got to see something today. But, yeah, this defense is starting to make plays. And look, I did write this, and I've said this all along, that Chris Grier can find cornerbacks, and he has done that. Now, look, he hasn't found any Hall of Fame cornerbacks. Xavier Howard, Grier took over the draft in 2016, is probably the shining moment for him. He did acquire Jalen Ramsey. I know Cam Smith and Noah Igbenogany are on that list also. But look, this year you did find Jack Jones. You found Rasul Douglas. You still have Storm Duck and Cater Kohu coming back, two undrafted guys that you found. Grier has done okay finding cornerbacks, and we're seeing that again this season. Again, none of them are going to the Hall of Fame. I don't know, nobody's definitely going to the Pro Bowl this year, but, the cornerbacks are coming around now. They're joining the front 7, and you're seeing a really, really solid Dolphins defense.
I'll agree with you other than Ethan Bonner. 3 years of Ethan Bonner, enough. I'm happy Ethan Bonner got benched last week, and nothing against Ethan Bonner, Perk. It's not that he's a bad dude. I just, I knew what was coming with Ethan Bonner, and it was all encapsulated on one play last week. Perk, what about the offense? Do you feel like you're getting the type of production from the offensive line, considering, the major injuries? You still don't have Daniels back. You still don't have Austin Jackson back. Liam Eichenberg is still MIA, unfortunately. Like, this is still not the offensive line we were expecting to have this season. Do you feel like Savat Inaya has been able to pick up his play, and just overall you're getting enough on the right side of the line with those reinforcements where they can be trusted to at the very least be competent?
Yeah. You are getting enough. Look, Tua has only been sacked 3 times in the last 3 games. We see Achane coming around. We saw against Atlanta all 3 running backs running the ball effectively, right? Among Achane and Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright. So good things are happening with that offensive line. I'm not at the point yet where I trust them, but I like what I've seen. I like what they're doing. The expectations are low for them. As you said, they've got two subs in there. Cole Strange at right guard after some right guard upheaval, right? After James Daniels went out, you tried Keon Smith, you tried Daniel Brunskill, and now you settled on Cole Strange. At right tackle, Larry Borum, after a rough start, has settled in. And let's not forget inserting Daniel Brunskill as the 6th offensive lineman / tight end. I think that started in Atlanta, but that has turned out to be a great job by Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, and whoever else was involved in that decision, because that's really, really helped take some pressure off of those starting 5 and giving them, somebody else who can move people up front. So, yeah, look, pretty much everything you've seen in the last 3 weeks, you can start liking it, but can you start believing in it? I don't know. I need to see it again today, but I like what I've seen from that offensive line.
Was Mike McDaniel trolling Bills fans at the Elbow Room funny or immature?
Oh, that was great. That was hugely funny. I mean, come on. Like Mike McDaniel is back, man. This dude has been so subdued and under so much pressure, and he just drives by. Hey, screw y'all. 7 straight wins over me. Screw y'all. It's time for me to get y'all. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved his answer. I loved that he was very evasive and left some room for mystery so that this mystery lives on a little bit. Great job by Mike McDaniel. Love that kind of stuff. Love it.
Perk, you're going to write your post-game column in Spanish today?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, if I could speak Spanish, that would be a good start. I know a couple of words. I'm at the Tua level. You guys heard him on the podium. Unfortunately, that's where I'm at.
Hey, Perk, what the hell happened here? They sent Fioranes and not you? What, you'd lose the coin toss? How'd that work out?
I know it, man. I know I should be holding staging a hold-in, right? This is ridiculous. He went to Germany also. So yeah, this is not right, man.
You couldn't pull rank. You couldn't pull rank. I mean, what happened there? Fioranes is.
I know. No, I decided I'm going to fight another fight, man. I'm going to save it for another day. So as I tell people, starting tomorrow, I am going to the Madrid of Texas, San Antonio, to visit family. So that's it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other, right? I mean, come on, San Antonio, Madrid. Come on. I mean, I'm not really losing.
Wembanyama's cooler than Mbappe anyway, dude.
There you go. If I say that in San Antonio, I'm a king.
Chris Perkins, go follow his work and the Sun Sentinel. Always appreciate it when he makes time for us here on Game Day Uncensored. Thank you, Perk.
All right, fellas, we'll do it next week.
All right, there you go. Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. I always appreciate him giving time. We'll take a break, and we have our actives and actives for this Week 11 matchup. We'll tell you who's in, who's out, and go over, Solana alluded to it, some of the Dolphins being asked to show off their bilingual skills. We'll get to that on Game Day Uncensored after this.
We've got plenty of ways for you to listen to your favorite
Miami football fans on FM 104.3 WQAM.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Game Day Uncensored here on FM 104.3 WQAM as we get you ready for Dolphins and Commanders Week 11 of the NFL season. Get to our actives and actives here, brought to you by JM Lexus. The December to remember is here at JM Lexus, a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence winner for 5 consecutive years. Save up to $2,000 with no dealer fee now at JM Lexus. Solana, our inactives here today. You got Rasul Douglas, no surprise there. He's been banged up, but looks like he's nearing a return. Andre Carter is inactive. D. Eskridge also has been on the injury report all week. He is inactive. Matthew Butler, defensive tackle, he is inactive. Zeke Biggers looks like he's going to get some more time again this week. And big question mark this week because he got hurt at practice was, of course, Bradley Chubb, but he looks like he is good to go, Solana. So Bradley Chubb will be out there today as he is had a great game last week, which, by the way, bogus taunting call by him against him for his sack on Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you bring that up. We forgot to mention that. Of course, Josh Allen gets touched and they're throwing flags everywhere. This also means no Rasul Douglas, not that it's a surprise, means another opportunity for Juju Brents, who, Tobin, I feel like, has kind of become beloved here in his short Dolphins tenure. Like, people are appreciating what he's been able to do for the team. I'm happy to see Chubb out there. I saw a video of him warming up about 30 minutes ago. That's big today, right? Because Chop Robinson's, you trade JP. Last week, without Chop, he was in concussion protocol. He comes back. You hope he's going to be right. But, man, you just feel like you're going up against a backup in Marcus Mariota. You want to be able to get to the quarterback today. So I think that's going to be a big part of it, and I'm glad Chubb is going to be able to play.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, there was some talk earlier in the year about Chop's snap count, how much he's getting in there. Remember, he had the scary knee injury earlier in the year where it looked like disaster, and he was good to go. Now he had the concussion. So it's been a bit of a rocky second stint for Chop Robinson. And so you're kind of hopeful that maybe this second stint of the season, maybe he can get going, get some good momentum going for him. Bradley Chubb's had a really good year with everything that has gone on. And you didn't really know what to expect. But even with Jalen Phillips being gone, maybe this is an opportunity for Chop to start making his mark on this season and bounce off that fun rookie year. We're all very excited to see what he could do for his Dolphins career.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Is there any part of, what the Commanders bring to the table that scares you at all? I mean, we're celebrating the defense. We're celebrating, how well they've been playing. Is there anything? Because, look, man, this is a team, again, backup quarterback. Their entire roster is just depleted. Their injuries are ridiculous. No Treylon Burks, no Scary Terry. McLaurin, he's out. Chris Rodriguez, I know, was questionable. I gotta make sure if he's in or out. But, like, is there anything, Deebo Samuel, like, anything concern you, Tobin, with the Commanders?
Yeah, two guys who know Mike McDaniel really well, right? Like, Deebo Samuel was kind of like his pet project in San Francisco. Really great relationship between those guys. And then Dan Quinn's obviously a guy, I mean, a lot of it was made that, he is a big staple in Mike McDaniel's career for going through his alcohol addiction and then getting sober. And so I think you have some good intel on the coach. Now, you obviously need the ponies, but there are some things there. Like, do they have some insight on how to get things slowed down that you got to watch out for sure? That's you got to be you got to have your head on a swivel for that a little bit. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen, where we like to dabble into some of the sounds of the week. We like to call this segment Echolocation.
It's time for Echolocation.
That is how dolphins communicate.
It's okay to be called out as long as you change your behavior.
What's 1,000 yards if it's not like a winning season?
They talk, we do.
Echolocation.
Send it in.
Send it in, Dan the Man. I just saw a picture with him and Joe Theismann in Madrid. A couple of QB legends there hanging out. The Dolphins, of course, in Spain. They speak Spanish over there. The Dolphins were asked to show off their skills this week as Spanish speakers. Here's how that went for the Finns.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Buenos dias.
I do my best when interacting with bilingual people.
¿De dónde eres?
I'm a very good listener. I can understand it, but unfortunately, I do the language an injustice when I try to get reps at it.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Fortunately, most people that try to speak with me speak fluent English, which is my wheelhouse.
¿Cómo estás?
Oh, muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Ala Majid. Ala Majid. Anything else?
Beautiful. Wow. What a montage. Hats off, Solana. Could you imagine Mike McDaniel just even trying to use Google Translate? It feels like it just wouldn't even work.
What's funny is he says, I would do the language an injustice. Like if you don't do the English language an injustice, Mike. It was phenomenal. Bradley Chubb was saying, hey, like my fiance's family is Latin. I should know more words. And he low-key started just throwing some stuff out there. He's like, ¿Cuántos años tienes? But Tua just hit you. He hit you with a hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? And then he's like, no. he said no, like if that was a word that gave him any props. And then a la Madrid is what Real Madrid fans yell. You would hear that constantly at the stadium they're playing at today, the Bernabeu Stadium. But he's yelling out a la Madrid, and he's like a la Madrid, and he felt like he nailed it. I love that stuff, man. That was
He's
awesome.
adorable.
Yeah,
he's adorable. Speaking of Tua, Jalen Waddle, he was asked this week about the Tua meetings. He did some reflecting. I think that one thing that was cool about the international media being there is they want some questions answered about some stuff that had even passed on. And so Jalen Waddle was asked about Tua and some of the lessons he's taken since he put his foot in his mouth.
He got a lot of desire to be the best leader, the best, captain on his team. So knowing that he may have not portrayed that to, y'all, I think it really did hurt him. But he's been great, and he's just been himself. He's not, easily provoked or, bothered by, what people may say. So I think it's been solid.
And one of the things I liked also that Jalen Waddle said this week, Solana, is somebody was a lot of asking Jalen Waddle, hey, what has it been like being the number one? No Tyreek. And he had this quote that was pretty goosey where he's just like, what's our record? Mm-hmm. And he goes, he's like 1-3. He goes, numbers schmumbers was basically his quote. And I was just like, I love that from Jalen Waddle. I mean,
he always says the right things, though. Like he always says the guy that says the right things.
Yeah, he is you see what's going on with the Eagles and AJ Brown and how miserable he is being as good as their team is. Jalen Waddle is just like, I'm not. He's never rocking the boat. So that was great. One person who changed the locker room we found out this week was Jordan Brooks. Believe Devon Achane, I think he went on Nightcap and revealed that it was Jordan Brooks who took out the Papa Shot hoop. So the Dolphins linebacker was asked about it. Here's what he didn't say.
Jordan, I guess Jalen did put you on the spot. Last time you said you didn't want to talk about it, so you could just say no. But is there anything you are willing to share about the removal of the Papa Shot now at this point after it led to a win?
No comment.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, very good. Very good. We can move on.
Okay, sorry.
My bad.
Sorry.
Very good. I asked, I did my journalistic duty. We can move on. Sorry for even bringing it up, Mr. Brooks.
That's great.
Are you up there chewing glass? How was that glass taste that you're chewing up there?
That is that was effing awesome because you can just tell like in his eyes the intensity of the way that he responded. Like, no comment. Okay, sorry.
Did you take a knife and just stick it right in the basketball when you decided to take away the Papa Shot hoop?
And nobody would dare question Jordan Brooks in that locker room, right? I mean, I feel like I have this pinned pretty well. That dude's the leader of that locker room, is he not? We've been asking.
I think so.
We've been asking all season, who's the leader? Who's putting people in their place? Who's walking up to somebody and saying you gotta hold your bleep together? Now we know Jordan Brooks.
Yep. No, I would agree. I would agree. Another guy who probably has some of that is Zach Sealer, who finally got on the board with a sack last week. This is what he had to say about how the young defensive tackles are coming along this season.
It's a grown man's game. You're not in college anymore, and they never did assume that, to be clear. But there's a lot different going on. There's a whole different speed to the NFL, adapting to the pace, to the shifts, the motions, and I guess the lack of mental errors when you come to this kind of level. You're fighting for that very inch or just little edge, and so playing a tight 3 or a loose 3, even those few inches of adjustment can make and break a play. So just talking with them and working through how they see the game and how to see the game, and they've been great at trying to learn as fast as possible and accelerate the growth.
I think in a lot of ways, Zach Sealer feels like life is a man's game.
You're happy you got that sack, aren't you?
Oh, I'm very relieved. He's been playing better. He has been playing better. He's I mean, it started as a frustrating year. I think one of the things that Solana that was interesting about this year that kind of sucked, and we talked about this a little bit before the season, is just like the Dolphins are going to rely on a lot of young guys coming into this year, and they really, because of the position of the team, didn't have the grace of time for development. Like you couldn't come into this year being like, oh, we just need to give Kenneth Grant 8 weeks to get right. We have to give Jordan Phillips or Zeke Biggers all this time to get ready. And it's just like, okay, now naturally we're halfway through the season, more than halfway through the season. And these guys seem like they're starting to get their footing a little bit. This defense is communicating better. You just worry that it's like, all right, is it too little too late? Like, will they have enough time to catch up with all this? But I do think this is natural that they've gotten to this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's fair. The thing with them being as bad as they were to start the season was that like you couldn't rely on the one part of the team that you needed to rely on, right? Like there was absolutely zero going in each week. There was absolutely zero production from that group that you could point to and say, wow, like they're keeping you in games or they're doing this to help you win. It just wasn't that. Like you had a couple Bradley Chubb sacks throughout the first couple weeks of the season, but outside of that, Tobin, like there were just no impact plays. That's changed.
Yeah, that has changed. Finally, here's Tua. He is taking on Marcus Mariota this week, who is the backup QB for the Washington Commanders and a guy that Tua has a lot of respect for growing up. Here's what Tua had to say about taking on Marcus Mariota.
I think a lot of people know I looked up to Marcus when I was in high school. He was at Oregon. Then when he transitioned, getting drafted to the Tennessee Titans, I was a big fan of him. Still am, just of the person that he is outside of the player. And, just happy for his success. I know he's been going through ebbs and flows throughout, years and teams. But if you get to know the kind of person he is, I think, the playing and whatnot is second, So I would say not playing Jaden Daniels. No, he's a great player. But, that's not who I'd be playing against. I'd be playing against their defense and vice versa.
All right, there you go. Both Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston starting this week, by the way. 1 and 2 from that draft.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Jameis, man. I'm very excited for Jameis.
Oh, man. Game Day Uncensored. We'll roll on after this, get to some Porpoise props coming on up as Game Day Uncensored brought to you by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. Shop massive savings on massive Chevy inventory, all backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com. Chevy, find new roads. Take a break. Back with more Game Day Uncensored after this.
This hurricane season, keep it on one. Football fans on FM 104.3 WQAM.
And welcome back, everybody. It's game day, uncensored here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Omar Kelly going to join us in about 20 minutes. We'll check in from Omar from Madrid. Hope they got that good Wi-Fi over at that at whatever. What the hell's the stadium called?
The Bernabeu Stadium.
Exactly, dude. Hopefully they got that good Wi-Fi over there. So just because it's international does not mean that we can't get on some action on this game. So let us get to, ladies and gentlemen, our favorite segment of figuring out what type of bets we can get in on. We like to call this segment Porpoise Props.
It's time for
I don't know about you, but that looked like money.
Porpoise Props.
Hopefully you didn't jinx us.
Props.
Of course, Mike McDaniel. Hopefully we did not jinx you. Getting into this action this week as Solana, the Dolphins, getting set for this game. At this point, like, how do you feel about betting multiple touchdowns for Devon Achane with how he's been so far?
Man, Tobin, you and I are in sync, bro. We really are. Can't wait till Julian Hill gets back on the anytime touchdown bandwagon. You and me are in sync there, too. I'm betting Devon Achane 2 or more touchdowns. I'm locking it in right now. I'm not even going to parlay it. I'm just going straight up. Even though plus 180 aren't the best odds, truthfully, for 2 touchdowns, I just feel like it's been his season. He could be having another monster back half of the year. And if you think about it, like, this is a primetime game. Big-time players break out in primetime games. I like it tonight. Or this morning, rather.
Yeah, he is. He's been incredible this year. I like that one, too. You just feel like he can do something special every single time that he's out there for the Miami Dolphins. And, you're seeing the odds on this game very favorable towards him scoring. Jalen Waddle is minus 110 for an anytime touchdown here today. Julian Hill is only plus 375 coming back from that ankle injury. I mean, that has got to be the lowest odds I've ever seen for a Julian Hill touchdown. This is completely ruined. Completely ruined the bit. Completely ruined the bit.
I'm throwing it in. It just feels like it's going to hit. He's due, Tobin. Come on.
I mean, but that's not what I want for due. Like, I wanted that's not what I wanted. Like, I wanted Malik Washington odds where he's like plus 1,600. That's supposed to be the whole point. I get no juice with that. It's like he's the same. He scored 0 touchdowns. I don't understand, Hard Rock. What is your logic there? Why are we giving him odds as if he's like this prolific touchdown scorer? He's never done it. He's caught a conversion.
But to be fair, one conversion, that is true. But to be fair, Nick Westbrook-Akine, who has been a ghost. I mean, this dude, no joke, Tobin, we could never talk about Nick Westbrook-Akine again. He could just leave the team and nobody would feel like he's gone. It would just be business as usual. He's only at plus 425. So I don't know if this is Vegas telling you they think the Dolphins offense is going to have a big game today. The Commanders have lost 4 consecutive games by 20 points or more. If they lose today by 20 or more, they would tie an NFL record with the 1986 Buccaneers, who lost 5 straight games by 20 points or more. They're also a really bad team against the spread this season on the road, the Washington Commanders. Vegas is telling you they think the Dolphins offense is going to have a big-time performance today.
Not only their offense, but their passing offense. Like, even if you look at Tua's props, it's like him to go over 250 is like plus 105. It's not like this outrageous number. And Tua hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire. But they got some injuries as well in the secondary. The Commanders, Tua's over-under for today is 241 on passing yards. And minus 160 to go over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I would bet the over on that, because if you think the Dolphins are going to jump out to a big lead, if you think they're going to win this game, not easily, but they'll have control of it, why wouldn't you just give the ball to Devon Achane, right?
I would think so. Would you parlay put to his longest completion being over 35.5 yards? Do you think he gets a deep one to Jalen Waddle today?
That's a good question. I do like that. What about I take you over to the defensive side of the football?
Okay.
Noah Igbenogany revenge game in Madrid. Half an interception, just to have one interception at plus 450. You want good odds. Noah Igbenogany revenge game against the Dolphins. Tobin, all I remember about Noah Igbenogany, other than he was trash and he changed his diet 3 times every season he was here. He was vegan, then he was a carnivore. I can't even keep track. Changed his diet more than Channing Crowder. This dude, primetime, Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers, won the Dolphins a game with an interception. Are you buying Noah Igbenogany primetime again against his former team?
No, I'm not. I don't think it hasn't been great sledding for the former Dolphins. So I'm not going with that. Jordan Brooks, by the way, loved seeing him get left in the dust last week. I mean, Jordan Poyer, I loved watching him get left in the dust last week. God, that was great. Where are those for your receipts, dude?
What a bum that guy.
Minka Fitzpatrick interception is plus 650. Minka's he's been making plays. He's been balling lately.
He did have a good game. He had a really good game last week.
I kind of like Minka getting a pick today. I like Minka getting a pick. And I kind of feel like they got Zach Sealer at plus 200 to get a sack. Like, do you start thinking that he gets sacks in bunches? Like, all of a sudden this becomes it was kind of a wave for him last year.
I don't hate that. I genuinely don't hate that. You feel like Zach is poised for a much better second half of the season than first half. I already put in a Chop Robinson sack because
comeback sack.
Yeah, there was just this whole thing on our show this entire week where I was talking about how Anthony Weaver said that there's so many Chop Robinson like advertisements around the city, in Madrid with his Dolphins union, that he's got to be out there. I heard the sound from Anthony Weaver, and Chop gets cleared. I bring it up to Hawk and Crowder, and they think it's ridiculous that Chop Robinson is being advertised as like one of the marquee Dolphins players. And I'm saying, well, why? I mean, he's got the best celebration, and he's one of the better young players on the team, and they just thought it was ridiculous. So now I'm just entrenched in this Chop Robinson fandom. I need him to come up with a sack today.
What about Tua over half a rushing yard?
That's what it's at? A half?
A half, dude. Just a half.
What's the
plus 105?
Really?
Yep.
I do like that.
You got to, right?
Wait, he's hit it almost every week.
1 yard?
But remember, Tobin, if they're winning this game, he's going to kneel the ball down a couple times. It could bite you in the ass. But Hard Rock's been cashing this out, where if he gets a 7-8 yard rush, they'll just cash it out for you.
I mean, that's all it is, dude. That's all it is. Devon Achance plus 175 to go over a Hundy today.
Why don't we do like Zach Sealer parlay, Zach Sealer sack with Tua over a half a yard rushing?
I like that. It's plus 525 if you do that.
All right, let's do it.
Plus 525 for Zach Sealer sack Tua over half a rushing yard. It's a ridiculous. I mean, it's such a silly line, but let's have some fun, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's have some fun. So we got that. Anybody on any Waddle props you wanna hit for today? Anybody else that's sneaky in there? Receptions. Jalen Waddle, his over/unders at 5.5 catches. Malik Washington, who got a touchdown last week, he's 3.5 catches. Greg Dulcich is 2.5 for plus 100.
He's kind of like sneakily all over the Dolphins social feed right now, right? Greg Dulcich?
I haven't noticed.
No?
I haven't noticed.
Jalen Waddle last week had 5 receptions. 5. And I'd bet him to go over 5.5. But Tua's been really, really loving that connection lately. I don't think it's a bad flyer to take on Jalen Waddle over 5.5 receptions. I do like Debo, though, over 4.5. I know it's at minus 140. So you're not getting the best odds there, but in my opinion, he's kind of the only legitimate weapon that the Washington Commanders have for Marcus Mariota. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from Waddle over 5.5 receptions. I got burned on it last week.
All right, I'm gonna be with you there. Multiple touchdowns by Devon Achane.
Yep,
we're gonna go with the Tua and Zach Sealer parlay. I'm going to throw a flyer on a Minka Fitzpatrick interception.
Hey, what about a Malik Washington anytime touchdown plus 230? Finally got in the end zone last week, Tobin.
He did. That was, and I've been waiting for that one too. That's been one of those where I've been like, hoping that I get a Zach Sealer. I did the Zach Sealer Malik Washington parlay like the first 6 weeks of the season, never cashed for me. Never cashed because Zach Sealer couldn't get the sack. And then I tried the Jalen Waddle. Then I moved to Jalen Waddle. I kept hitting Jalen Waddle, and I didn't get the Zach Sealer sack. So I don't know. Maybe I should stay away from Zach Sealer as far as being his mush. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I wish you didn't tell me that before. I just put money on.
I've told you every
Zach
day
Sealer.
every show this week. I've told you. It's been a point. I've told you every week what my bet has been. Never hit.
It's going to hit today, baby. Let's go.
It's in Spain. It's different. There's different rules in Spain.
Correct.
All right. That's your porpoise props for today as the Dolphins are getting set. There was another report, by the way, from Ian Rappaport, Solana, that the Dolphins that Mike McDaniel's future pretty safe. That Stephen Ross wants to bring him back in 2026. Does not have any illusions of moving forward with somebody different. I would imagine though, like here's the thing: if that's the case, like if they do go in that direction, that means Champ Kelly's staying too, right? Like I don't think that they're gonna put a new GM in a place where he's going to be with Mike McDaniel and then eventually be looking for his new head coach. That just seems like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, no, I mean that's kind of what we want to avoid too, right? Don't we all want to avoid this constant? You keep the head coach, you fire the GM, and then you fire the head coach, you keep the GM. I mean, to me, you either clean house and you commit to it, or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think genuinely. I'm not going to waver here. I'll stick to this take. I think it's a mistake not to just clean house and try to reset and completely overhaul this entire thing. But look, it doesn't surprise me that Stephen Ross, the most patient man in the world, who let Chris Greer linger around here for 7 years after clearly just not putting this organization in a better place year after year, it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't want to take that route. Like this is somebody who has proven to you time and time again that he likes the people that he hired and he's comfortable with the people that he brought in. They love the fact that Mike McDaniel was in their sense collaborative with that entire organization. And he must have paid him a boatload of money when they extended him last season, going into last season.
True.
So I think that probably factors into play here. Clearly Stephen Ross likes Mike McDaniel, man. So again, I don't think it would be the right decision to keep him long-term or at least for another season. But would it surprise me, Tobin? Not in the slightest.
John Gruden, by the way, who everybody was so excited for the Dolphins to hire. They're like, oh, we should get Gruden, even though he has been a relevant coach in a very long time. Relevant football personality for sure. As the voice of Monday Night Football, but I don't believe he's had a winning season since 2008. I don't think he's had a 10-win season in almost 20 years. He said, don't be shocked if you wake up in a few weeks and the Miami Dolphins are in the playoff hunt. I believe he even went as far as to say he thinks that this will end with Mike McDaniel getting a 5-year extension and sticking it up everybody's bleep.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. Hey, by the way, speaking of Gruden, does he want to coach again?
I don't know. I feel like probably because he's a maniac, but I've always thought like he's one of the best media personalities that we've had. He's really good at it. I would feel like after the years of coaching and especially being in this new era, and then it didn't go great with the Raiders. Obviously, I know there were other circumstances that got him fired with the email leaks,
right,
which he's suing over. But yeah, I feel like you would be happy finding this great success. But these guys are competitive maniacs, and they like to get back into the fold. But he's been great with what he's doing now on social media with Barstool. He was great with the QB camp. He was great on Monday Night Football. Everybody loved him on Monday Night Football.
Everybody did. No, I mean, you're right. These guys are all sickos. So it's not that it would surprise me who wants to coach, but my point is, Tobin, aside from the fact that, he carries some baggage because of the way he had to leave the NFL, I just don't know if he wants to coach. Like, I haven't seen him campaigning for jobs. Like, he might just like doing what he's doing right now and not want to come back into the fold of having to work every single day. But just to put it to bed, I wouldn't want John Gruden from the simple standpoint of like, if the Dolphins were going to move forward in a different direction, bring me non-controversial people into this
Right.
locker room. I'm tired of like the baggage being brought in. I'm tired of the Bullygate scandal, from the Bullygate scandal to everything that the Dolphins have gone through over the past like 15 years. I don't want any more controversy. Like, bring me the boring personalities and try to make this right this time.
Like this week that Bill Belichick had a statement that was like, I have no interest in going to over any NFL pursuits, because there was a lot of Giants buzz, and the reports where the Giants were like, we weren't going to ask you, dude. Like, we weren't interested. So anyway, we'll take a break. When we come back, Omar Kelly scheduled to join us from Spain. We will talk to Omar. You all right?
Yeah, no, I just want to tell you, I'm really excited to talk to Omar because I want to bring everybody in on what's been happening. Omar's been texting me for the past 3 days, and he keeps texting me that every fourth Spanish guy, this is what he texted me. Yo, every fourth Spanish guy in these clubs in Madrid looks just like you. And I said, what, are you finding just white guys with beards? He said, pretty much. You have a very traditional Spanish look. And I'm like, huh, okay. And then and he texted me again yesterday morning. I swear to God, I see you coming into every single restaurant. He's like, you look like every fourth Spaniard.
We'll take a break and talk to Omar coming on up.
Week 11 is here, and the Dolphins are The Dolphins have gone internacional. They're in Spain today for a game with the Commanders. Last week's decisive win over the Bills was a momentum changer, from feeling like everything was lost to the joy of beating a powerful team like Buffalo. But, and of course there's always a but, Tua says onward.
I think that's a big confidence booster for our team. But we were able to enjoy that win for 24 hours. We want to put that to rest, and we want to focus on the Commanders this week and, find every possible way that we can to help win the game, offense, defense, collectively with special teams.
Mike McDaniel on how a win improves the focus of a team.
The belief in the team is very high amongst the entire locker room, and our job is to play football, but we get to choose if we're impassioned collectively, and I think guys have made that choice and need to continue to progress so that we can have another win.
Can the Finns win again? Well, hopefully the Spanish air will do them well. We're up early to break it all down on Gameday Uncensored, the pregame show for real Miami football fans. Tobin, Solana, Omar Kelly, and Chris Perkins on FM 104.3 WQAM, Miami's sports leader.
Gameday Uncensored on FM 104.3 WQAM is brought to you by the Lexus TX. Room for all your passions and 3 rows of luxurious comfort. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. By Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. When it comes to scoring a rugged new truck, Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet is the MVP of selection. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com and start shopping today. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. And by JM Lexus. JM Lexus has the best team in the business. A 4.8 Google rating with over 22,000 reviews and counting. JM Lexus, West Sample Road, Margate.
All right, and welcome back, everybody. It's Game Day Uncensored here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Dolphins, Commanders, Week 11 of the NFL season. And Solana will go out to Madrid. Boots on the ground. Omar Kelly joining us there. What's going on, Omar?
I'm good, man. How are you, gentlemen?
We're good, man. We're good. You sound good. How is Madrid? How has it been this week?
It's been fun. It's the weather has picked up, so it's sunny. It's beautiful today, even though they've got the roof closed. It's beautiful. This arena is amazing. I mean, the stadium is amazing. I was telling Solana, texting him the whole trip, like, every fourth guy looks identically like him. Like I could tell exactly that Solana is a Spaniard. Like,
I get a lot of flack, Omar, for wearing skinny jeans and my style, but now you see, I got that Euro look, man.
You are the like I'm serious. Every fourth guy looks exactly like Solana. Like every time I turn the corner, I think Solana. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like.
Omar, háblame en español. Have you picked up any Spanish? Hola, Omar.
Un poquito.
There we go.
The one thing, and this has truly been an educational experience for me because I've learned everybody's Spanish is different. Everybody, and you do not know, like I'm here with a Spanish-speaking companion, and she doesn't know sometimes what the Spaniards are saying to her, and she says sometimes it's the accent or they talk with a
right. They have the theta. They have the theta in Spain. So instead of pronouncing the S, it's like a th sound. Yeah, it's fascinating. Omar, I gotta know. I know we want to talk football, but what have you eaten while there? Like, what's one thing you can tell me you've eaten, because you're a little picky with your food. I've learned over the past couple of years.
I've had some paella. I've had some tapas. Tapas is just like small plates. Paella was very good from a high-end restaurant. I think it was a little pricey for me. You could go to the guy on the corner was trying to get me to come in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a lot cheaper than that guy." But yeah, I think I paid like $40 a plate for a sea bass paella, but it was amazing.
All right.
Do you like these international games? Like, does this compare differently to the London trips? How much do you like this, and how much do the players enjoy? Do they like these experiences?
Wouldn't you love to go see another country on somebody else's dime? So that's exactly what it is for the players and for myself. I think the only way that I can correlate this game to help you guys understand is the Miami F1 race that comes to Miami once a year and is a major event, and people worldwide from different continents come. And, if you're lucky enough in Miami, you can afford a ticket, or if you're rich enough in Miami, you can get a ticket. This has such a Super Bowl worldwide feel to it. I always find it interesting because I've been to the London game twice. I always find it interesting that they don't come wearing Miami Dolphins or Washington Commanders jerseys. They come just wearing the jersey that they own. It could be a Jacksonville Jaguar, could be a Tampa Bay Bucks, could be, they're just in NFL jersey. It's much like if I go to a soccer game, at Dolphin Stadium wearing whatever soccer jersey that I do have. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I would honestly, I would do that. I would do that. The one soccer jersey I own, I'd take it to the game. So it's so unique to be in a country that really, they don't care about football. They're like, American football, cool. Like, you know how big we are in America. Like, we are massive in America. They're like, I've never seen it. Not really that interested.
But Omar, what would you say? Because I asked Mike Cunio this on Friday. Would you say that just at the very least around the areas that the Dolphins have taken over, some of the pubs and stuff, aside from Miami fans who traveled there, Cunio was telling me there's people, like you said, from all around Europe. Do you feel like even the locals have kind of embraced just this event that's in town?
Oh yeah, and not just the locals, but remember, this is the first game in Madrid ever, and the Dolphins' plan is to really be the team that takes over the Spanish-speaking territories of the world, which is a cool concept, and I get the vision. My hotel is filled with Dolphin fans. I see Dolphin fans everywhere. Same thing, I see Commanders fans everywhere. There are a lot of people who are from the States. There are a lot of people from Europe who just are NFL fans. If you're an NFL fan from Europe, you're here. Just because you don't have that much access to these teams, these games. It's much like if Real Madrid and America, not what's it called? Team called
Barcelona.
No. The United America. I forget what they're called. Where the Dolphins practiced all week.
Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid.
I'm wearing their jersey right now, Omar.
Yeah. You were like the Mets fan in New York, while everybody is the Yankees. I'm getting this now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing is, Real Madrid adopted that the Washington Commanders are hosting them, and they're practicing their facilities. So Real Madrid fans adopted the Washington Commanders, and then Atletico Madrid. What is it called again?
Yeah, you got it. Atletico Madrid. You got it.
Atletico Madrid, which is for those who don't understand, there's like the New York Yankees and the New York Mets, and the Nets and the Knicks. Well, that's Madrid. They've got two soccer teams. One's the big brother, and then the other's the little insecure little brother, which is Atletico Madrid. And the Atletico Madrid people have adopted the Dolphins.
But to be fair, Atletico, just to put it in perspective, the big brother is Real Madrid, most famous club in the history of soccer. Atletico's not the Mets. Like, they don't stink. They've had success. They've won leagues titles over the past decade. Like, this is a respectable club. But it's a good comparison for sure.
Oh, I read your column this week on Champ Kelly. He spoke a little bit this week on just his status of the job. What'd you come away with talking to Champ about the situation he's in and what he's aiming for?
Well, I found it interesting that Steve Ross has basically been like, I have no limitations. I have no interest in micromanaging. You've got 8 weeks to put your stamp and your feel on this team. And Champ basically said to the players, hey, I'm in the players and coach. I'm in the exact same position as you guys. My future is depending on how we all do as a team and as an organization. So he's got carte blanche. He can do whatever he wants, which is why 2 30-year scouts were removed from the organization. During the trade deadline, what he said was they put a trade value on every single player on the roster. And if a team offered up what they felt was the trade value, that player was shipped away. Obviously, the only player that they gave the adequate value to was Jalen Phillips. But ultimately, you could have had anybody on this team if you wanted. I mean, including Devon Achane. They probably gave him a second or maybe even, I don't think they gave him a first-round value, considering he's basically on a one-year contract. But obviously, we all know. And he said not all the deals that were reported are accurate. And he said that in regards to the Jalen Waddle offer from, I believe it was the Giants. No, the Buffalo Bills. And then we also asked him, would you trade within the division? And he was like, I would prefer not to, especially since you're going to have to continue to play that player. But I'd never say never, because you never know what the offer is.
Omar, do you feel like the Dolphins are approaching a new era officially? Or is it closer to, I know this season still has to play out, but do you feel like it's kind of trending towards, McDaniel being back and Champ kind of retaining this job and status quo just continuing?
I don't know if it's trending that way. And I think everybody who is saying that is doing it pretty much prematurely. While this team hasn't quit on Mike, they're still not necessarily a competitive team, or they've only been a competitive team for 2-3 contests this year. They're still a team that struggles with 4 fourth-quarter losses. To me, I'm not even sure I'm considering retaining Mike if he doesn't win 5 of the next 7 games, 5 of the remaining 7 games. You have got to finish strong and show that this is a team that can actually contend for an AFC East championship. Otherwise, I'm bringing somebody in here to rebuild this organization. And I personally feel that that's what's needed for the Dolphins, because we keep doing this in pieces and it keeps setting the organization back. Just scorch earth cleanse and start to grow it organically with a head coach and a GM that come in together. Obviously, Tua is going to be here for 2026, but let them pick their quarterback.
Are you feeling like the defense is starting? I mean, they were so bad to start the season. Do you feel like things are finally getting fixed on that side?
No. You're not going to have Rasul Douglas today, which obviously gives Juju Brents an opportunity to showcase himself, so we can see if that was a fluke that he put together last week or if this is real. I think losing Jalen Phillips is going to hurt the Dolphins more than people think, because Jalen Phillips was not only the linebacker who could drop into coverage, wasn't great at it, but when you watch him versus everybody else, you understand why he was the guy dropping back into coverage. So now you got to find a guy who could drop back into coverage. And not only that, but Chop Robinson's going to be playing at least 10 to 15 more snaps. And you realize Chop Robinson, a first-round pick, he's on every single billboard around here. Not Tua, not Waddle, not Devon Achane, Chop Robinson. And this guy has started uno in his NFL career. Uno. So today might be his second ever start.
Is it possible Judon starts over him?
It is possible, because first down snap, it depends on the formation. If it's going to be, I mean, if you study the Dolphins, you want to run on them. So I'm opening the game with 2 tight ends, and that might even bring Willie Gay onto the field. So you never know. I think it's package based who starts. But clearly Chop Robinson is in the 3rd down pass rushing package. If I'm going to play Matt Judon, I'm going to play him in the run stopping package. So it could be possible that Judon does start.
Yeah, we've had so much attention on the rookies and how underwhelming they've been. We haven't really talked about Chop, it feels like, that much this year. I know he had the scary knee thing and the concussion, but is there more pressure on him now? Jalen's gone, so he's going to have more of a spotlight on him. Do you feel like this could be good for him to get more opportunities, or do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on Chop for this back half of the season?
I think, and this doesn't just apply to Chop, this applies to every single player on this roster, and Zeke Biggers included. I'm glad he's elevated after playing his first game last week. You need to know what these guys are. You need to figure it out. And for me, Chop, and I've seen this, Chop can't set the edge. Chop cannot set the edge, and you're a team that struggles against the run. How are you going to have a guy who struggles against the run on the field on running downs, which is why he's only started one NFL game? We are going to see whether or not Chop has grown as an edge setter or has not. And it's going to, and that's really going to dictate to me whether or not I could build around him or not.
Omar, before you get out of here, is that the best stadium you've ever been in or inside of?
Jerry Jones's Palace is a little bit nicer. I think they lack televisions for like, I'll see when the game's active, but there's like one little TV in the corner, where I've been to other stadiums where literally you gotta struggle to see the field because the TV's so big.
Yeah,
like Jerry,
but I mean, the Americans need all their screens everywhere. You need these massive jumbotrons.
Such a good screen,
and in Europe they're like, no, we're there for the game. Like we don't need all these club levels, and we don't need all the American Express lounge. We don't need free croissants.
Oh,
like
they got a lot of that here,
bro.
though. They got a lot of that here, though. However, I will say this. When the players, and this is the atmosphere, it's just a very unique, weird atmosphere. When the players came to the field just for warm-ups, they got a louder cheer than I've ever heard at a Dolphins stadium. Just like, and the stadium wasn't even maybe 40% filled. And I was like, either the sound carries really well, or these fans they're just like, oh, he's coming through the field, like, and I remember that in London as well. But this stadium is, it's state of the art. It's different. These are people who I hear this is the best European stadium that there is, if not one of the best. Like I saw they have a video of how they do their grass, and like that technology.
He's got to go buy one of those now.
But no joke, Omar, you're literally at like Fenway Park right now in soccer world. You're at the original Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's the most historic, one of the most historic stadiums in the world, man.
Yeah. I might as well be at the Coliseum in Rome, like watching gladiators fight. Yeah, yep. I get, and that's the thing. You know how soccer is like, okay, I'll watch it if it's on. I don't know anybody. Like these people, like they are crazy about soccer. Like you think we're obsessed with football. Like that's a joke compared to soccer around here.
Omar Kelly, go follow his work in the Miami Herald. Always appreciate when he makes time for us. Enjoy it, man. Safe travels back, and thanks for making time for us.
All right, guys.
There you go. Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald joining us here as he is boots on the ground in Spain. Before we get out of here, Solana, we got to predict the game ball, which is brought to us by our Southern Lexus dealers. The Lexus December to Remember sales event. Get offers on select models for a limited time. Learn more at Lexus.com. Who do you got here, Solana? What do we got for predict the game ball here today?
Man, it just feels so simple, right? But go with go with Devon Achane every single time, and you're probably in a good spot. I just feel like this is another game for Devon Achane to just run all over the Commanders. They haven't been good at stopping running backs especially running backs out of the backfield. We talked to a professional sports gambler earlier in the week, Rob Pizzola, and that was kind of his takeaway. Like this is the Devon Achane game where, again, like he can have another breakout performance. So I'll take the easy pick, Tobin. I apologize. You let me go first. Devon Achane, my game ball, who right now is getting interviewed on NFL Network by Cam Wolf.
Dan Day, you got a post game coming up for us today. Who do you have for the game ball? Who would you predict?
I want to say Jalen Waddle, but that would mean if Jalen Waddle does good, Tua does good, and Tua, a little change of scenery might do him some good. So I'm going to go Tua Tagovailoa, having a pretty big day over there in Spain.
I was actually going to go with Tua too, Dan. I kind of feel like a big Tua game could be upon us. Now, I don't know how much I loved the arm punts last week. What did you think of that, Solana? The change in philosophy of the arm punt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about a one-on-one on the outside when none of your receivers are over 6 feet. Like just jump balls to guys who are all 5'9". I don't know. I didn't like that stuff. I thought you could have just thrown the ball away, punted, tried to play for field position. Like what happened to the idea of, hey, this offense picks up 3rd and longs. Now It's just like, bleep it. We'll just try to throw a Hail Mary. I don't know. I don't understand that.
Just chuck it down there. I don't know, man. He's trying to. They're trying to cut loose a little bit more. I do feel like there's a little bit more of a what do we have to lose right now? Like we're either gonna get on this run or we're gonna flame out terribly.
Which I appreciate, Tobin, but that doesn't mean I just want Tua throwing jump balls for the hell of it, right? Like run a play. It's 3rd and 16. Run a play. Try to get close. Try to put yourself in position where it's a 4th and short.
I was so down at the start of that game, man. I can't lie. Like I was watching when they had the penalty and the timeout, and then Tua throwing the duck up in the air. I was like, oh no, we're in for one today, boys.
Hey, but even Tobin at 16-0 at halftime, I'm like, yeah, they'll lose this game 33-16. There's no doubt in my mind. They're gonna lose this game.
You just had to see it. I couldn't believe it till I saw it, that it was finally done. Like once Josh Allen had the ball popped out, I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to pull this thing off. This is crazy. I couldn't, so man, it would be nice to ride some momentum. It would be nice to talk about this, going into, and especially going into the bye, you're getting some guys back next week, possibly with Austin Jackson, his window is open this week. So maybe he's going to start, he'll be back with that toe. If they could add something to this offensive line, sheesh, I mean, see what Austin Jackson could actually do for this team. It would be interesting. So we will see. Dan, you will come on whenever the hell you want for post-game edition. So if you guys want to get your calls in for Dan Day, please be tuned into that here on QAM. We can also, of course, stream that on 104.3 WQAM on YouTube and Miami 104.3 WQAM on Twitch. Solana, it was great getting up early with you here today, man. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks once they are back from the bye week, and we'll see if this Dolphins team can actually start to string some of these together. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next time. Enjoy the football and the paella and pigskin, everybody. We'll talk to you next time on Game Day Uncensored.
Well, folks, that's the breakfast edition of Game Day Uncensored. Dolphins and Commanders coming up from Madrid, Spain. We'll be back to talk about it after the game on the Game Day Uncensored postgame show on FM 104.3 WQAM, Miami's sports leader.